So I've been told that I haven't done this in a while, which I haven't. The last motovlog I did was back in March. So I think it's time. So let's get going.
My name is Jonathan and I'm a caregiver for my wife Lynn, who has a permanent brain injury. Things are different now, but we're doing the best that we can. Join us as we experience the Lynn life.
So it has been a while, not since I've been riding. I've been riding right along. But it's been a while since I've done a motovlog. So we're going to get out and do this, but I'm going to take you on a little different route. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get some gas. And then I'm going to take you on a little different route. Maybe point out a few landmarks, and we'll see how that goes. We're also experiencing a little bit of a kind of like fall-like weather. I'm actually shooting this on September 2nd, Thursday, September 2nd, and the temperatures are in the low 60s, I'd say right now. This morning it was 48 degrees. And that's a little too chilly for me, especially on September 2nd. But it's supposed to warm up a little bit this weekend, so hopefully it will. Okay, the tour I'm going to take you on is through the city. I usually take you on a country route. Today I'm going to take you on the city, and the city that I'm going to take you through is none other than Utica, New York. Utica, New York is home of Utica Club Beer, Saranac Beer, Chicken Riggies, and Utica Greens. If you haven't experienced any of those, you're missing out. Now on the Parkway, I'm going by the Parkway Ski Center, which was a ski center built right within the city limits. Also has other things going on there, tennis courts and other recreational facilities. This is, the Parkway's a nice place. It's a nice walking and jogging trail we're going along. And on the right up here, is the Utica Zoo, or the entrance to the Utica Zoo. Right up here. That's where we're going to be stopping, right by it. Open 10 a.m. daily. Used to do commercials for the Utica Zoo years ago. It's a great little city zoo. Not particularly big, but it is a zoo. My son Justin had several birthday parties there. And they were spectacular. They were a lot of fun. When he was a little boy, he got to choose to bring in some animals into the room that they had the party in. And I remember one of them he chose was a huge tortoise that walked in under its own power, and it was awesome. Now the Utica area is not the area that I grew up in as a kid. I came here to go to college and ended up staying in the area. I don't live in Utica, but I live in the vicinity. And speaking of that college, college is actually on my left, over here. Mohawk Valley Community College I attended a long time ago, and it's been the college that my son has been attending. Different curriculum. I was an advertising major, advertising design. And Justin is pursuing a career in electrical engineering. He'll be transferring from here shortly and continuing his education to get his four-year degree. But I actually lived in the dorms right over here a couple of years. Yep. Spent a lot of time here. Continuing our tour, just down from the college is on the right. It's Proctor Park. Been a lot of changes in this park. There's a nice football field right here. I don't even remember that. I don't know when that was built. Used to come down here a lot when I was in college. Let off some steam in the park. And farther down, this is the outskirts. This is within the city limits that we're in, but it's at the outskirts of the city, more residential part. But this is the route, or we're heading towards the beginning, actually, the very start of where the Boilermaker starts. Boilermaker is a pretty well-known 9K road race that they didn't have last year because of the pandemic. This year they'll be hosting it this fall. Won't be as big as it normally is, but they will be having it. And the start, actually, we're going in the reverse direction. They'd be going the opposite direction we are, the runners. And it's a big deal for this area. It actually ends up at the brewery where Saranac beer is made, and Utica Club. It's a huge community event. I do a great job running it. I've never run it myself. I have videotaped it. I've actually videotaped it from the lead truck before. There's another intersection. The actual start is just up ahead. This area would be very, very busy during the race. I'm going to turn off from the parkway here. We're going to head down Broad Street. Interesting street. It's going to bring us right into sort of downtown Utica. But this was, well, back in World War II and before then, this was an industrial mecca. Factories on both sides. Thousands and thousands of people working down this stretch. Many of them living very close by, right to the left, the residential area. They would live there, walk to the factory, and nestled amongst those homes would be small mom and pop grocery stores, restaurants, bars, etc., that those people would frequent, and everybody lived within walking distance. Their churches, their employment, places they shopped, restaurants they ate at, were all close by. Those days are over. People don't do that anymore. You can see one of the old factories here. Many of them are already gone. They've been torn down or they caught fire. What's going on here? Been some renovations. Looks like some renovations are being done over here. I like seeing that. When people find these old buildings, pick them up really cheap and fix them up and turn them into something else. Now, speaking of renovations, this area here, I'm about to take a right on. It's called Bag Square. And this old building right here is known as Doyle's Hardware. I remember it when it was the old hardware store. It's been since renovated and turned into apartments. Kind of cool loft apartments. In this area is the train station. It's the Utica train station. It's also a bus station. Take you north Utica briefly. And we're gonna cross the Erie Canal. Now there's the railroad on there. And across that, this is North Utica. It's been growing a lot. New hotels, restaurants, things of that nature. A lot of changes in this part of the city. There's a harbor off the canal. It's being developed. That's why a lot of hotels are springing up. It's also right off the New York State Thruway. also the area I used to work here in an office up in North Utica. For a long time. Yeah. Gonna turn here. Okay, so I circled around, come back on Genesee Street again, and head back into the city. Gonna go back over the canal. And the Mohawk River. By the retro looking McDonald's. And we're going to go right the city, downtown part of the city, where I don't usually ride because there's a lot of stoplights. But we'll do it for you. And we'll take this as far as we can, or as long as the battery in the GoPro lasts. How's that? So I only brought one battery. This is downtown Utica. I know there are people that watch that are familiar with this area but haven't been here in quite a while. I thought it might be interesting for them to see how much things have changed. There's a hospital going up over there. You might be able to see it. New hospital. Merger, merging basically 3 hospitals that we have into one big one. It's been pretty controversial, but it's happening just the same. Quite a few years I worked right downtown too. I worked in this taller building right over here on the right, 258 building. And right across the street is the Stanley Theater. Beautiful theater. Seen a lot of good bands there. And used to live in an apartment next to it, which isn't there anymore. The building was taken down for an expansion on the Stanley Theater. I live right next door. Interesting story. I could actually hear if it was a concert going on in the Stanley that I didn't go to. From my bedroom, I could actually hear it. One time there was a Bob Dylan actually played, and he actually sang me to sleep in my bedroom live. Interesting story. True story. Traffic circles, not my favorite. There are people walking in front of me. Alright, we're coming out the other end of the city. Still there. Gotta look out for these cars. Still within the city limits. Moving into South Utica. Also just went by another place. Actually, I used to work in this building too, right over here to the right. And there was another building to the left, back a little ways I worked in too. Moved around a little bit. Sometimes, oftentimes for the same company, we would move offices though. I worked for the same company for 30 years. Well, the name changed quite a few times, but on the left is St. Elizabeth's Hospital, and that's where I went to get my stents put in. That's where I spent a night in there. It's also where Lynn went after she had her issue almost 10 years ago, going on 10 years ago. That's one of the hospitals that'll be merged into that new one that's downtown. Okay, out of the city, now in the town of New Hartford, heading back home. Take a left here, start heading back. But it's been fun. A little bit different. Some more things to see, and a little different for you guys. So hope you've enjoyed it. I'm gonna get on the highway and head home the rest of the way. I have a need for some highway, so I'm gonna do that here in a second.
back home. The bike is back into the garage, and now I gotta think about what I'm going to make for dinner. That's my life. But it was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to get at least one more of these moto vlogs in this year before it starts getting too cold or till the snow starts flying. But that should do it. And we'll see you next time on The Lynn Life.